In a world where guidance begins at home, join us for an eye-opening conversation. Today, a Sunday school teacher and a dedicated parent delve into the vital role parents play in their children's spiritual journey. It's more than just the church job. Let's grow with our children, not just watch them grow. Welcome to Get Understanding, where we explore meaningful conversations that shape our faith and family. Stay tuned for insights that could transform your family's spiritual path. For more information, please visit our website at www.churchnewsenlc.co.za. In all you're getting, get understanding.
So many moons ago, I started to visit the main branch ENLC in Toekomsrus, and it was so interesting. I belonged to another church, but I visited this church from the main branch time up until the time that Pastor Tommy was at the other venue on Main Reef. And I used to say that Pastor Tommy is holding me hostage, because I will tell myself, I'm not going there next week. Next week I'll go to Sunday school, and then I'll go to my main service at my church. But you know, the series, Pastor Tommy is a person of series. He preaches in series. And so I will tell myself, this is the last Sunday. Next Sunday I'm going to my own church. But then it's like to be continued. And you know, when you hunger,
yes.
One thing that I pray for myself, and that I always pray over my children, I've been praying it for years, is that you should hunger and thirst after righteousness. So there was always that hunger. I wonder what's next in this series. And even Sunday night, I will say, no, I'm not going there. I'm going to my own church. But Sunday morning, I will just go back again. And sometimes it will be a new series, Janice, but I will go again and again and again. The only times that I really stayed at my church was when I was involved in the main service. Then I will stay. But then it's a case of, I wonder what I missed out on. And I don't know the joke, whether you know the joke that Pastor Tommy will make about certain people in church, and he will say, oh, but they've been visiting forever. That used to be the joke he made with me, because I will come on a Sunday morning, I will visit on a Wednesday. In fact, the first time that I came here on a Wednesday evening, I didn't come for the opening of ENLC Randfontein at this venue. So I didn't know where it was. Somebody just said, Captain Morgan, the short street, you go this way. And I got lost this Wednesday. Luckily, one of the older members was late for service, so I just drove behind her to get here. But I used to come on a Wednesday. I used to come on a Sunday visiting for years and years. And Pastor Tommy used to say, but you know what to do. You know, when he gives you a word of knowledge or a word of wisdom, when he speaks to you, he'll tell you, I'm not going to make the decision on your behalf, but you know the truth and you know what you are supposed to do. And I've struggled with it for years, where I knew I was supposed to come to this church.
How I got to this church is because of my parents. Growing up, we used to go to the same church that my parents go to. It was normal in our household. And they went for some time from church to church. And when they left the last church, I told them that this time, I'm not going with you guys to another church. And then you leave that church again to go to another church. And we just have to go along with this. So when they told me they were Pastor Tommy, I just said, okay, Daniela Mafiela. And at that time, I wasn't actually in a church. I was working a lot, so I spent most of my Sundays at work. So this one time, with the reopening of the church in this building, they had T-shirts and all that, and my mom made a T-shirt for me. And she said, we're going to the opening of the new building. This is your T-shirt. And I was like, black and gold, so nice. I'm wearing this T-shirt, I'm going. And for the first time, going to a church, like you mentioned, where people are so warm, you feel at home, you feel welcome. And ever since, I'm like, this is it. And I didn't know the pastor until I got to know the pastor, and I saw like his personality, his presence, it automatically rubs off on the people underneath him. Because even with the sense of humor, the caring, the people in the church are exactly like that. It's like they adapted to, it's like a true father.
Yes.
And the children are like the father.
And the children becomes like the father.
Yes.
Yes. And that is one thing about life sometimes, that in general, that men and sometimes mothers do not realize, is that whatever we do, our kids will mimic.
Yes.
So it's like that in the spiritual as well,
Yes.
in your spiritual walk as well, that your followers or your children, as a shepherd, they will mimic you.
True.
They become like you. If a shepherd is not growing,
Yes, the church
will not grow. And I'm not
Yes.
talking about numbers. I'm talking about
Yes,
spiritually.
spiritually. True.
And that was the nice. That's also the one thing that attracted me, is that there's constant spiritual growth.
Yes.
In fact, I mentioned it in a meeting the other day, that my one child, I never forced my kids to come over, so they stayed with the church where we were. And my firstborn came over, and he said to me a few months ago, Mommy, in the 6 years, 6 weeks that I'm visiting here, because he still said he was visiting, I grew more than I grew in 10 years. And that was so profound for me, that, okay, I never forced you. I raised them in the ways of the Lord, if I should say. There is something that we used to say in my old church, that you need to raise your kids in the ways of the Lord. So I raised my kids in the ways of the Lord, but I never forced them to be spiritual. I discussed things with them, and I never forced them to come to church. For my child to come back and say, I've grown spiritually, and where we can discuss things, and where he can encourage me, I thought, oh, okay, so now I'm done. I'm okay.
Yeah,
As a parent,
my
I'm
work is
okay.
done, yeah.
As a parent, I'm okay. If my children are growing spiritually and they can relate, then I'm happy. So, Janice, why is it important for you to have your kids in Sunday school?
From a personal experience, I grew up in a home where we went to Sunday school. And I still remember what we did in Sunday school, remembering the Bible verses and each book in alphabetical order, and it still sticks with me. And even though sometimes, they say that a parent can only raise you till a certain age, and what you do after that is up to you.
Yes.
I feel like 80%, let me say 80% of what I've learned growing up through the Sunday school, through church, going to church with my family, it sticks with me. There's a root.
Yes.
It's there. It never goes. Even when you can be reminded that this is not the way to go. This is the way to go. Because a root was already planted by my parents.
Yes.
And that's what I want for my children. And they are at a point where even though I don't come to church, they will tell me, get me ready for Sunday school. I want to go to Sunday school. So it's the root. If the root is there, nothing can change that.
Yes.
If the longing will always be there, the thirst will always be there to go and run after God. So why are you so passionate about the children and what you do in the church?
You won't believe me if I tell you this, that as a young girl, okay, I'm coming from a family where you needed to do something in church. Not forceful, but my family was like, my mom is in the choir, my cousins are in the choir, this one is doing Sunday school, that one is a youth leader, that one is a deacon, this one is as an elder. So after I was confirmed in my church, I was told, what are you going to do? And I was like, oh, okay, I'll do Sunday school. So that is how I ended up doing Sunday school. And then, life happens and you go away. And my kids became the age of Sunday school. They needed to go to Sunday school, the firstborn. And the younger one also just went along. And I had to take them to church, to Sunday school. You know, Sunday school in my old church started at 8. So I had to be out of the house by 7:30. To get them to Sunday school, I didn't have a car, so I had to walk. And I just thought to myself, but I am here. And in fact, I never wanted to do Sunday school. It always felt like it was forced. Even though I enjoyed the kids, and even though I enjoyed being there, it always felt forced. But after a while, I realized, but kids are special. And there's a reason why Jesus told his disciples when they wanted to push the kids away that, no, these people are actually more special than you. They are more susceptible to receiving the gospel. And that is where when I got to know the kids, and I got to know the different kids. And, you know, we look at kids and we just think that, it's just a child, he didn't note anything. Kids are deep spiritual beings. And that is what draws me towards them, because you won't believe the conversation that you can have with a little one. My firstborn, I used to read the Bible with him every night. And I used to pray with them every night in their beds, you know, like we watch TV, so you are tucking them in and you are doing. So I was very like that. And he will say, but mommy, the other day when we read the Bible, you said something else. You know, sometimes the Bible can be confusing if you don't go deeper into it. And my kids actually brought that hunger to know more and to be able to explain to a child. Because sometimes as grown-ups, we think that we know a lot. But a child will challenge you spiritually. Spiritually, they will challenge you. And I tell the younger people that I work with that you need to be prepared when you stand in front of a child, because that young child will know when you are thumb sucking. They will know that you are not prepared. You just came and you just went through your notes. And you will not have confidence if you are not prepared in front of kids. So kids actually, not Sunday school, kids made me want to be a Sunday school teacher.
Wow.
Because they are deep. Kids are deeper and more intellectual than we think. Yeah, so as a mom, what do you expect from us as Sunday school teachers? What do you expect us to teach the kids? You know, in today's day and age, there are sensitive topics.
Yes.
Some kids are sensitive to certain things because of the way that they grow up. And that's why I'm asking, what do you expect from us? The manner in which we should treat your child, or what we pass on to them as adults.
At this moment, I am quite happy with what is done. My kids are, like I mentioned earlier, they are excited to go to Sunday school. It's not a forced thing. They actually eager to go. They love Sister Elma. They love Jordan. They even mention if they saw Sister Elma at school. They tell the other one, I saw Sister Elma today at school. So right now, I'm quite happy. I see they have a longing to be there, and that makes me happy. How would you encourage other younger parents like myself to be more involved in their child's spiritual growth?
It's so easy for us as parents to think that when it comes to school, you think the teacher should do 1, 2, and 3. The same happens with Sunday school. Sometimes the child comes to Sunday school and that's it. And you know what? You can actually see the kids where the parents are more involved, where the parents are sitting with the child or just asking a child a question. What happened today? What verse are you supposed to know? As parents, we are responsible to help the child to grow. I can remember that as I grew up in the previous church that I'm in, that some parents were in the mother's room more than in church. And the mother's room can be so disruptive. And those kids will never learn how to sit still in church, how to respond,
Yes.
or how to even listen to a sermon. So I grew up with a grandmother that said, if a child is disruptive, you go out to the mother's room or you change the child or whatever, but you don't raise a child in the mother's room.
Yes.
You need to sit in church with the child and teach the child how to behave in church. And the child will see what you do in church, how you respond to the sermon, how you grow. It's important for parents, and especially the modern parents, to know that just as you are growing spiritually, it's just important for your child to grow spiritually. And as I said earlier already, is that children are deeper spiritually than we think. We think that kids should just be sitting that side, and some parents were raised with kids should be seen and not heard. But the modern child, is so much different than what we were in the past. The modern child will ask questions. The modern child will challenge you. So as a parent, you need to grow with your child. If you grow spiritually, the child will grow spiritually. If you post questions, if you ask the child questions, the child will have the freedom to come to you as a parent and ask you spiritual questions. So if you open up the door to your child spiritually, believe you me, that child is going to walk through that door.
Wow.
And it's so nice for a parent to grow spiritually with a child, and you will bear the fruits at the end of the day. You will see the fruits in their child if you open up that door for the child to walk through. So Sunday school, every Sunday morning at 9 sharp, all children are welcome. We don't have an age restriction. We cater for all children.
So guys, there you have it. Thank you for watching. In all you're getting,
Get understanding.